All right, so look, I wanted to talk a little bit about a point. I think it's important because we hear these terms thrown around a lot, but I like to get your perspective on it. All right, so I heard you say earlier about an alpha female. So if you can help me, like, what is that considered to be to you? Like, what is an alpha female?
Oh Lord, here we go. Oh, all right. So for me, I wrote that book because my mother is a strong woman. I grew up with just my mom. She raised me. She worked. She went to school herself. She raised three kids. So she was always, strong, never giving up. The same type of person that I am. So when I think of alpha, I think of a strong woman. Now, some people may think independent, right? Can't don't need to depend on nobody. That could be a little bit, just a little bit. But for me, my definition was what I mentioned: the strong, independent woman. I guess I say.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, look, nah, that's a more simpler version, all right?
Yeah.
Because as most people that carry alpha in front of themselves, not you, but I'm just saying in general, it just comes with a laundry list of
Yes.
qualifications that make a person feel like this is their title. Because
Hmm.
believe it or not, on the alpha male side, which to me is corny, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because anytime you have to refer to yourself as something, I just don't feel like that's what you are. Now I
Hmm.
can see if a person approaches you and says this what you are. Like for example, if you're a painter and you're painting and somebody walk up to you and say, "Hey man, you're a painter." Oh yeah, well why? Yes I am. But not for you to go to somebody and be like, they don't know you a painter. They don't see you painting. They ain't never seen no paint, and you just walking up to them, "Hey, I'm the best painter ever." Like what? Like yo, everybody should follow me. I'm an alpha painter. Like yo, son, like where do you get that from? It's because nah, because this is how I feel. I feel alpha, so I am alpha. So anytime people put those type of like titles in front of them, it comes with a laundry list. So I'm glad that you broke it down like that because I want to make sure because like look, hey Kev, like listen, how often do we hear the word alpha? Me, how often do we hear the word alpha?
Frequently.
Never correctly, but we hear it.
We hear it a lot.
And so it's very important. That's why I say, like, let's get people's perspective on it because by no means is it going to be a man versus woman thing. We don't do that. But I definitely, I just don't, I don't get it from the man's perspective. Now I understand where you coming from the female's perspective of having to be strong in a position where you really shouldn't have had to do it by yourself. You know, but then again, we don't know people's relationship. That's the one thing about it. We don't know the other people's side of the story or why they weren't there or why didn't they contribute to the life of their child.
The military life is hard. You know what I mean? Deployments. And so I was put in a place to be in a role like that where I always did it by myself. Because he was always gone and deployed. So that was the
Oh,
hard
yeah.
that he wasn't there. Hmm.
Well that makes sense. That makes sense. So you pretty much knew already based on the profession that he was in that you would probably be the one that's having to do the most when it came to the children. But then
Yeah.
you had to still concentrate on the things that you had to do as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, that makes it tough. But that also is a sign of a person who faces thing head on too, because you pretty much knew. Like it wasn't like you were just blindsided, 3 months in, like, yeah, I'm out. And you're like, well, what?
Well, well,
Uh uh
well.
uh uh.
He got married in October, and they told him in November he was leaving.
Ah,
So,
wow.
so I had to decide on: am I going to stay back here to school, or am I going to go where he is stationed? So we both decided that it was best for me to stay back here and go to school while he go get stationed somewhere else. And we did that for 3 years. And that's how that happened.
Gotcha. So once he was deployed, he was gone for 3 years.
Yeah, so first he was stationed in Georgia at another base, and then they sent him on to what was Afghanistan
Right.
for about a year, and then sent him somewhere else. So we really didn't come back together to about 2.5 years later.
Sounds about right. That military life is crazy.
Yikes. Okay. So that had to be a that had to be a lot to adjust to at times. I would
Yes.
say. I would imagine. So emotionally, you just been over all over the place a lot of times, then, huh?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
See
Mhm.
that makes for some that makes for that content flowing like it does.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, right. I mean,
Yeah.
look, they said you can't have a testimony without test, right? So,
Look. Yep. Definitely. Definitely. Definitely.
so okay, so I think I heard you earlier in your so you did get your master's, right? And so then you got your doctorate too?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you just kept going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's your nickname.